Real quick on URL rewrites. Yeah. URL structure. Okay, so I already explained, I think, how Magento will take in your category, for example, you can specify this URL key, and this URL key will be used in part with some other configuration settings, such as a suffix, whether you want to add .html, for example, and whether you want to whether you have Magento configured to have the store code added to the base URL, all sorts of different settings. But this here will be unique in a store scope for your category. If I were creating this category, necklaces, and I didn't specify a URL key, what would happen when this category is saved is Magento would basically make this a URL safe string and basically slug it, so lowercase, and add basically hyphenate everything that doesn't play well in a browser bar. And that would be, so my URL key would be necklaces. So if this were a category were at the top of my site, I would have site.com/necklaces. In this case, the user decided to use designer-necklaces, probably because maybe that was their, that is a little more targeted for their products and the clients. Okay. And then, let's see. So we'll look at the database and the code that looks at the database. So our front controller, via that requests, again, remember that get model core URL rewrite, requests that model, and so we get we basically pass in our current path and evaluate that. So in order to successfully evaluate the URL and try and build out a match, internally Magento builds out this array and basically adds slashes all over the place because these are all valid forms of that same URL. So then we try and see from our core URL rewrite table if this matches anything, okay, with the store scope. So we just basically try and see, is our current request path in one of these values in this array, and if it is, then Magento can actually translate to the correct system path. Like again, catalog category view ID 10. If you log into your admin panel, or if you don't feel like it, well, no, you do feel like it because this is actually a lesson. This is part of the lesson. So go ahead and log into your admin panel. And if you'll go under Catalog, Manage URL Rewrites. For some of you, I'm sure you've already seen this if you've been working with Magento for a while. But you'll see these fields. So I'll open it up as well. So, Catalog, URL Rewrite Management. All right, so we have our primary key, ID here. And we have our store view, so basically our store, the scope in which this URL applies. If we have some kind of custom rewrite specified here, otherwise it's going to be a system rewrite generated by the system. And some sort of ID path. So I can sort by ID path here. All right, so the request path. So this is basically an index. So these things, depending on changes that you make to the configuration, for example, if I remove the HTML suffix, then I would probably get a little notice up here that says, I need to rebuild my URL rewrites. So what we have here are, let's see, request path, target path, and let's see if I go down here. All right, so request path, parts and labor, 146.html, 1 year extended warranty parts and labor -2. Okay, so this is probably the original. So what happened here in this case was probably this rewrite existed, but this rewrite was ugly. And so they changed it to something else. There is the option in Magento to have basically permanent redirects established when you change URL rewrites, but most often, let's see. This is the kind of rewrite that we really are interested in here. So F5. So furniture.html here corresponds to catalog category view ID 10. I'll remember that. That's the ID 10. And you see it's in here 3 times because we have 3 different stores. We have English, French, and German. So 1 for each scope. Okay? I could edit this. Of course, the next time I refresh my rewrites, that change would be gone. So I can add additional ones and map them too. And then as far as what's here is, let me see, target path and then redirect, yes or no. Well, actually, this is options. That's basically 301 or 302 redirects. And so if we're actually adding a URL rewrite, let's see. You'll see in options, you'll see like R or RP. So I can select a category here, or I can just do a custom. All right. So, and description is arbitrary. Description is just for your internal notes. Okay. In the database, these are stored in core URL rewrite table. Okay. So, and again, this whole system here relies on Magento's the same Magento model and conventions that we'll use for our modules. All right, so core URL rewrite table. I just showed you that, and I never understood why the white space characters ended up in this slide, but they're cute and decorative, so enjoy them for free. All right, so in the admin, if we will create a product or category, so let's create a product. Let's create a product. Don't play with those categories. Create a product. So what you want to do is you want to create a product and then go find it in the front end after you create it, and about 80% of you will raise your hand and go, "Why isn't my product showing up?" So go ahead and create a product and assign it to a category, maybe, yeah, and then try and find it in the front end. Yep. So that, of course, just under, in case you're if you're not familiar with the admin, it's just obviously under this catalog menu item here and manage products. And then there's a button over on the right that says, hey, add product. And I'll add a product with you guys. I'll just do that. Is this timing out on you, or? Yeah, the admin can take a little while to spin up on the, especially on the VM. All right, so name. Yes, especially if it's the first time. So at this point, I will go ahead and look for my product, Ben's product. Actually, I'm going to refresh to make sure my change worked. Okay. Now, so I could search Ben's product. Nope. Not here. First place, and of course, this exercise is just a study in deviation from the topic. Really, just want you to look at product administration websites. I only have the one website yet. I must add my product to the website.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and you want to add it to a category as well. Although once you've done that, you should be able to find it with search. But now, let me see if I go here to, I was in computers, right? Let's see. Maybe am I on the last page? Oh no, did I choose furniture? I think I chose furniture. Bedroom. Nothing yet. Huh. Well, maybe if I look under the categories, I know I've got that right. I'm pretty sure.
No, there is no.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assigned the bedroom category, and I've assigned it to the website inventory.
Yeah, inventory. You need to change the
Inventory, and there's a couple things here. Inventory 20, and there's this little flag down here. In stock, out of stock. That one will annoy you several times before you remember to think about it. So now, once I've done this, I bet or am I still saving over here? Wow. That's epic.
Yep.
There I am. And yeah, there are index considerations to when you're administering your catalog. There are these different indices, flat data and category products, etc. But all of mine here are updated, are set to update on save. So if I change these to manual update, then obviously what would happen is I would get this I would get a warning up top saying that my indices were out of date. Okay.